You need to ask Jessica or that to have a look at our global biodevices policy protocol. It actually steps out what the procedure that you need to get to put in this biodevice. We're not just putting in a piece of automation that moves cardboard boxes or moves plastic trays. We're actually starting to interfere with the development of the embryo and putting vaccines inside the egg. So there's certain standards we have to meet.
Right.
So a salesman just can't go out and say, oh yeah, I can sell you this, your ROI is going to be this, I'll sign you up tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah. So the global biodevices policy is updated. Kurt Shuey was the one that got me to produce it about 10 years ago. And it's been revised just recently to go on the international side of things where everybody can follow a set procedure.
Okay. So
if you can get hold of a PDF copy of that, it's going to answer a lot of questions.
Right. Okay. And you said Jessica would be the person we spoke to there. What's Jessica's surname?
Alderman.
Yeah. Perfect. I will.
She's from marketing, so she'd be able to give you, we can supply it to you in confidence or whatever. So.
Yeah, we've signed all of the relevant NDAs and things, so there's no legalities there. It's just whether we can get hold of her, but that's fine. So on a site visit, then you're checking to see where it will fit in and what they already currently have. How often are you fitting in with other automation and other processes that are supplied by different companies?
In APAC, we've got one coming up in India that we're fitting in line, our injector in line with the Viscon system. A good thing about our stuff at the moment is it can stand alone.
Okay.
At 18 days. I mean, you can put an unloader or a reloader on either side of it, for example. So it fits in quite easy. We have our injection system in line with Viscon, in line with ECAT. So it's just a sensor between the conveyor systems to tell it when to start, when to stop.
Right. Okay.
So it's not a big problem. So, but it is starting to become a little bit more. People are putting add-ons as well. But in our part of the region, APAC, the cost of labour is that cheap that you really don't need that automation.
Yeah. Okay. How much space is there generally to play with at hatcheries? Are we talking like a metre here and there, or are we talking you've got several thousand feet wasted that you can just sort of put a machine in? How does it work?
I think it really depends on the hatchery. You could go from like huge, space available in the hatchery or, very limited space.
Yeah.
It has it all. Depends.
Yeah. You go from having to call the person up the other end of the room to having to whisper because you're talking too loud. Yeah. But there is going to be minimum requirements in all new hatcheries that are being built.
Right.
We haven't been able to put some of our equipment in hatcheries because they've got nowhere to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
And what
why before in that policy that Peter mentioned, we have something what we call like a site survey in place.
Right.
Make sure that we have everything we need before we install the device or before even the commercial people, proposing the agreement. So.
Okay. And would that be something that you would provide to customers when you're in the initial stages of whether or not you're interested? You tell them like it needs to have this much space with this much like electricity and like bandwidth and things.
Correct. Yeah, and that's what they would ask anyway, the customer. Yeah.
Yeah. How many hatcheries and that sort of how technologically advanced are they? I understand there'll be a big mix, but is there quite a lot of technology in there that's currently is there a lot of, because I know that in some markets we've had issues with other
you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Scope references to this say /2.1. Okay, that's the latest revision of it.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
So it's fairly extensive, 14 pages, but it goes down all your steps, your references, your audit forms, and then preparing for initial new business contract, initial. This is for the tech team. It's all the sales reps that are going in. So it goes through all of that. Current bio-device offerings that we've got. And keep scrolling through. The ESS, how we have to do an environmental site survey, etc. So it really lays it quite out.
Right. Okay.
Well, here's your environmental site survey requirements. So, device order procedure as well. Goes down to vaccine manufacturing from human flu companies. Trials with devices when a protocol is not needed. Scheduled maintenance. Unscheduled maintenance, and we go down to knowledge-based assessments for the FSTs, and then we actually have like the breakdown of the equivalent ordinaries.
Okay, yeah.
To let you know how many field service techs you need for the amount of devices you've got in country.
Right.
Okay, and our obligations. So yeah, it just keeps going on and on and on. 14 pages. And as you can see, it was been out. It's been out for some time. It's only just been revised. So, right.
Nice.
So that would give you a really good explanation onto what we do and why we do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks like it would be a document that we definitely need to get our grubby little mitts on. So yes, we'll be getting hold of Jessica Alderman and asking her for that. Perfect.
I go, it's the biological way that we have to do things to make sure that site is ready, not only in cleanliness, but in management. You can have some beautiful hatcheries that are managed like a laundromat, that don't work very well, that have got no processes, and you're going to struggle when you put your devices in there.
Okay.
But you can have a 50-year-old hatchery that's run by a manager that knows his stuff. And he's got processes in place and he checks on things, does things. So you can't put new and old into separate baskets because it can be reversed all the time.
Right. Okay. So when you're they've bought the thing, they've gone through all of the site visits and they double check. How do you start a site up? Like, how do you prepare a site? Do you go in advance of the machine and train the staff on processes and how that will change, or do you turn up with the machine, install it and train it on the same day? How does it work with like getting it in there and getting people happy to use it?
Well, Duke, you're the one that does the installs. You can answer that one.
Yeah. So there are actually quite a few steps. So first thing off, after we do the physical site survey, right? We then do the environmental site survey. So that's already second visit there, to see if that particular hatchery is suitable for plating, for environment. If they got, what level of hygiene they're at.
Right.
And if we see that they're still dirty, we would then provide them recommendation on how they should clean it off. And then after some time, after they implemented their cleaning routine programs and all that, then we would do another follow-up during the plating to see if there is any improvement in terms of hygiene level.
Okay. Sorry to hold that thought 2 seconds. Plating is doing swab testing and seeing like bacteria.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Correct.
So you've done your second plating.
You have learned few things here already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then right after that, we'll device may be ordered already by that time. And they have to get prerequisite in, like air and power, water supply, all that. They have to sort it out. And after 4 months, which is our lead time in delivering our device, then by that time we will attend that site again and do the device installation. We would do testing and validate the device before handing off to the customer, do the customer trainings, and that's all. And after that, it will be